If you want to get hired at a visual effects studio, well, here's some advice. Delete After Effects. You probably don't know the secret behind your favorite Hollywood visual effects. In fact, 90% of filmmakers skip over this one critical step. Well, that all ends with this video. What's up? My name's Josh Tunin, and I went from a self-taught visual effects artist making films in my backyard to working on Hollywood visual effects as a feature film compositor and supervisor on movies like Star Wars, Dungeons & Dragons, and Across the Spider-Verse. And one of the biggest mistakes I made early on was thinking that After Effects could be my ticket to working on Hollywood visual effects. But that is not true. Every studio I've worked at isn't using After Effects, they're all using Nuke. And if you don't know how to use this software, you don't have the skills to be job ready when going into these studios. Well, guess what? I took a poll of 600 different visual effects artists, and only 10% of them said they knew how to use Nuke. That means the other 90% of you have no idea how to use the techniques and software that go into your favorite Hollywood films. But most people don't know that you can download Nuke for free right now and use it on your own projects. So if you're ready to stand out from the crowd, the number one skill that you need to master is compositing. So what is compositing and how is it used on your favorite movies? Well, behind every cartoon, there's an animator, but behind every visual effects shot, there's a compositor. Compositing is the last critical step that goes into every one of your favorite visual effects shots. Whether that's Avatar, Avengers, or any movie you can think of. With compositing, you can add sparks, explosions, and different stock elements into your footage, whatever it takes to make the perfect image. In other words, compositing is just Photoshop for video. But instead of working on one image, we're working on 24 frames a second. So how is compositing used on Hollywood visual effects, and how can you use these techniques on your own shots? So let's walk through the 6 techniques every filmmaker and visual effects artist must know so you can upgrade your CGI right after this video. Well, the most powerful way to transform your shots is by taking CGI and combining it with live action footage. Now, most people know that CGI is in their favorite movies, but they don't know how it's applied or how it got into that final shot. So in this shot from 1917, this church was rendered out, but the compositor had to go in to integrate it and add the smoke and effects so that the final shot looks perfectly believable and real. You can enhance your live action footage by rendering out CGI separately and then combining it with your live action plate or your original footage. This way you can combine CGI in several pieces of footage together to create your final shot. You can even take CGI characters just like Iron Man and add it into your own shots. By separating out our characters onto their own layers, we can easily composite them together with the original background. And then finalize it with sparks, effects, glows, and these lens effects to add that final touch. Next, let's talk about stock footage. A compositor can layer tens or hundreds of elements into just a few seconds of footage. And this is taken to the next level in some of your favorite Marvel movies. The compositor is stepping in and adding stock footage of smoke, dust, and atmosphere along with these other effect simulations to create the final image. Each shot is built up layer after layer with different details and depth added throughout the shot. That's why having a 3D camera in compositing lets you take these shots to the next level by adding footage, stock elements, and images into your 3D scene. Because we have a 3D camera, we can take images of clouds and just place them deep into the background. And now we can layer on depth and atmosphere throughout our scene and separate each layer in our CGI render to make sure it's perfectly photoreal. It's also incredibly creative because you can add different stock footage into the foreground, midground, and background to create a cinematic shot full of life and movement. Whenever you see green screen, a compositor is stepping in to remove that background and replace it with CGI and integrate the two together. And you can do the same thing on your own film. So you could record an actor on a green screen and use Nuke and Unreal together. The good thing is if you use Nuke to composite your Unreal renders, you can also use Nuke to track your 3D camera. By analyzing the footage, we can track points throughout the entire duration of our shot, and Nuke will go ahead and create a 3D version of our camera. Then you can take that camera and import it directly into your Unreal scenes. Then just import your original footage as a media plate into your sequencer timeline so that when you scrub through sequencer, you'll also scrub through your footage. Then take that media plate and parent it to that camera. and move it in front of the camera, and now you'll always see your footage on top of your background. This will let us adjust our background and make sure that the light direction and everything matches between our CG and our live action footage. And just like that, you can take real life footage from a band, a performance, or anything and combine it with your Unreal scenes. Pretty cool, right? You can also add matte paintings into your background. Instead of building everything with 3D models, oftentimes it's easier to create 2D images from photographs and place them in your 3D world. This breakdown right here is from the original Iron Man. And this behind the scenes breakdown is exactly what inspired me to become a professional compositor. By zooming in, you can see how they bloom out the highlights in the brightest areas to recreate the imperfections of a camera. They'll also add in dust clouds and atmosphere to add more depth, color, and to silhouette the different buildings in this environment. Matte paintings are also used to expand backgrounds and make visual effects shots from other worlds and planets. These are known as set extensions and sky replacements because they completely replace the background. Now, if you've rendered out of a software like Maya or Blender, then I'm sure you know that renders can take a really long time. Because CGI can take hours to render just a single frame, a lot of techniques were developed in compositing to improve your CG renders without having to re-render it every single time. This was done through render passes, otherwise known as AOVs. AOVs are any additional render pass that you render out. All the different lights inside of your scene, or data passes which you can use in your composite to push your renders even further. Thankfully in Unreal, you can render your shots super fast, but you can supercharge those renders by using these old school techniques. The 3 data passes or AOVs that I render every single time are the depth pass, the position pass, and the normal pass. And here's why. The depth pass will let you create high quality depth of field in your render. You can use your depth pass with the Z defocus node. This will let you create custom depth of field by using your own image or texture for your bokeh. Using this, you can create the anamorphic look you might be going for, recreating the look of a real life photo. Now we can use this black and white mask to grade or add atmosphere and depth into our shot. But I love using this when I add in smoke or stock footage so I can blend it with the depth of the 3D environment. The next pass you have to render out every time is the position pass. This isn't gonna be flashy at first, but if you use a couple custom tools inside of Nuke, you can take your renders to the next level. I'm gonna include a free download for all of these in the description, so make sure to download these right now. Using this position noise node, you can add custom breakup and variation and instantly apply it to your scene. Just plug this black and white mask into your grade node, and now you can multiply up or down to add variation and breakup into your renders. You can also use the position matte node or PMatte node to create a real 3D bubble and sphere as a mask inside the real 3D environment. And now you can select the exact position in 3D space where you want your mask to be. And it'll stay in this exact position throughout your entire scene, no matter how fast or how far your camera moves. The last node you should know about is the position to points node. This lets you visualize your scene and your render in a real 3D space by using a point cloud. This will take the color from your image and display it in 3D space after you plug in your image and your camera. Now you'll know exactly where you're placing your stock footage and cards in that environment, and you'll just render those out of a scanline render node, plug in your camera, and you're all set. These 3 simple techniques with the position pass node is the bread and butter of compositing, and they're used every day on every character and environment in a Hollywood film. You might have 10 or even hundreds of different PMats or P noises across an entire script. And the last AOV that you want to render out is the normal pass. Using a relight node, you can use this normal pass to add in real 3D lights into your scene even after you've already rendered. This is a great trick to get a little extra edge or rim light to your environment without having to re-render everything or tweaking these final lights. Here you can rotate around the normals of your scene and find the perfect lighting and shape for your characters and your backgrounds. But the most overlooked part of compositing is how you can transform your CG and make it look completely photoreal. When compositing your CGI renders, the name of the game is photorealism. You want to capture all the imperfections of a photograph and a camera lens. Now there's 6 lens effects that you should be adding in to every single shot. Because you have to apply all of these different lens effects to every single image, it can be easy to forget 1 or 2, which is exactly why I made the one-click compositing template. I want to make it as easy as possible so you can add these Hollywood level techniques to your own renders. So if you want to get started today, all you have to do is follow these 3 simple steps. Step 1 is just download Nuke for free right now so you can start using it on your own personal projects. Step 2 is you can download my pack of free Nuke nodes. These will get you up and running and give you some advanced techniques to level up your renders. And step 3 is I'm gonna give away the one-click compositing template for free when you sign up for the Unreal to Nuke Masterclass. This will take you from a complete beginner in Nuke to compositing your shots with confidence and learn all of the Hollywood visual effects techniques by the end of this training. It doesn't have to take 6 months or a year to completely transform your skill set. You can learn Nuke and composite your shots like a pro in just a single day. Plus, we just released a new bonus chapter, Godzilla in Unreal 5. You'll get instant access to our Godzilla renders and project files, and you'll learn exactly what it takes to create Hollywood level visual effects yourself. I'm giving all of my best secrets away, all of the top techniques I've learned from over 8 years working on Hollywood visual effects, so that you can get up to speed in just a single day. So join me in the Unreal to Nuke Masterclass by going to unrealforvfx.com/nuke. And if you sign up today when this video releases, you'll get $100 off your purchase. Make sure to subscribe for more Unreal filmmaking and visual effects techniques, and check out some behind the scenes of our other Unreal projects. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.